पहुंचेगा। हम 120 पे किनात नहीं करेंगे, हम पहली 20 इकोनॉमीज़ में आएंगे, और वो सिर्फ़ और सिर्फ आपकी बदौलत, आपकी उम्मीद, आपका हौसला, आपकी यकीन, आपकी मेहनत, आपकी जुस्तजू और फिर इश्क। खुदा हम सबको आसानियाँ बांटने की तौफीक अता फरमाए। शुक्रिया।
Very well said. Thank you so much, Dr. Saab. Some fantastic thoughts in the end as well. Can I please just request Mr. Farooq Rahman, the Vice President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan, to please come on stage and present some mementos to our distinguished panel. And I think it has been a very interesting and enthralling discussion. Of course, once we go back home, if we try and pick up on the pieces of this discussion, I'm sure there'll be a lot of value addition. So can I please request the audience to give a round of applause to our panelists for taking out their time and speaking on diversified elements of building entrepreneurship within yourself, within your company, and of course, in the end, the very nice message from Dr. Amjad regarding the future and of course your own faith of belief in Allah as well. Thank you. Please can you present the awards to the respective panelists one by one? I think everybody's contribution today has been lovely. Very diversified views from different backgrounds. That was the actual objective of this discussion, just like the people around the hall are from different backgrounds. And I think people around here also need to think that what is our strength? Our strength is, of course, the subject of taxation. Can the people in the hall go back and write a paper on how Pakistan can broaden its tax net? Send it to the Institute of Chartered Accountants, we'll evaluate it and we'll see if we can actually contribute to Pakistan. Can somebody here write a paper on building the SME business in Pakistan? Ease of doing business, can we incorporate SME companies easily in Pakistan without the long drawn process that might exist today in the Companies Act? So this is the entrepreneurship and the innovation thoughts that we would like to leave you with. And thank you for the group photograph. All right, thank you so much. You could kindly take your seats now. Thank you very much once again. And now we're moving on with the program. And of course, as accountants, we also need to know what is changing in our world of accountancy. And yes, we are very honored to have somebody from the International Federation of Accountants, from the IFAC. Yes, he's a board member and chair of the audit committee of IFAC. This is Dr. Weenan Shroff. And he's just arrived in the early hours of today. So can I please just request Mr. Shroff to please come on stage. He's a certified German auditor and a senior partner at KPMG. During his 34 years at KPMG, he has held several senior leadership roles within KPMG at the national, European, and global levels. Dr. Saab, thank you so much for coming to Pakistan. And I'm sure the audience would like to learn a lot about what's changing in the accountancy profession.
Thanks very much for the warm words of welcome. And dear President Shamdia, distinguished colleagues, it's my great pleasure to be here today. And first of all, I'm bringing warmest greetings from the IFAC leadership and our president, Ms. Rachel Grimes. I've been invited to come here to share with you a few thoughts about what's going on in the regulatory scene in the standard setting. My presentation is actually titled The Future of International Standard Setting for Accountants, for the Accountancy Profession. It reads differently in this flyer, the program. It says, resetting the standard setting model, enhancing public trust, or recipe for chaos? And I leave it to you to answer that question at the end of my presentation. I know that I'm the last obstacle between you and lunch, so I try to be brief. Although it is necessary for you to understand what's going on actually, that I take you back a little bit and explain to you what the current model of standard setting for the accountancy profession at the global level looks like today. And I will then share with you some proposals by the monitoring group for strengthening the governance of international standard setting and how that might change the model, and will also have consequences on the mental model and in the profession, not only in the auditing profession. And I will also, of course, explain IFAC's reactions and finally draw some conclusions. Before we can look at what is being discussed currently, you should understand how all that what we have today has evolved. IFAC has been established exactly 40 years ago, in November 1977. That was the time when globalization took place, or was kind of matured at that time. It started earlier. And when people realized cross-border investment is not very efficient because of a lack of trust and confidence of financial reporting, or in financial reporting cross-border. So there was the need recognized, the need for international standardization, the need for standards that can be understood and applied globally. And that first of all led to the creation of the International Accounting Standards Committee in 1973, and later on in 1977 to the creation of IFAC, the International Federation of Accountants. And under the roof of this professional organization, there was 3 objectives identified. One was to establish international standards on auditing, international education standards for accountants, and the ethics code for professional accountants. It is remarkable, and I think you all should know, that these were initiatives led by the profession, by professional accountancy organizations. At the beginning, it was only 33 from 51 countries. And you can be proud. ICAP, your institute, was one of the founding members back in 1977. Today, we have about 175 members from over 135 countries. The standards that have been developed over time, the last 40 years, are characterized as principles-based and covering the whole financial reporting supply chain. So that includes not only the back end, I would say the auditing, it would also include the accountant in business. And I know that the majority of you today here are accountants in business. And the majority of the profession that is represented by IFAC, over 3 million professional accountants in the world, the majority of which are professional accountants in business. So IFAC recognizes that the majority of the profession are accountants in business. So in 1977 we were optimistic. I was at university at that time, so I have some memories, but some may have no memories of that. And then it happened in the early 2000s that we had some major accounting scandals that triggered governance reforms. It was not only the Enron, the WorldCom, it were some other accounting scandals involved in it, and that definitely triggered reforms to establish external audit oversight bodies that were independent from the profession.